Hey folks, welcome to another casual sit down with Jan. I'm your host, Jan Rognerud, and I'm going to take you through some fun stuff today. We're going to be covering a sort of a beginner's approach to keyword research. Keyword research is essential if you're doing anything online, so we're going to cover that today. Stay tuned. We're going to cover keyword research, and I'm going to look here at sort of an old approach, and then I'm going to look at a new and a better approach. And frankly, this approach here is going to really help you to think about keyword research in a different way. So if you're a beginner, we're kind of covering that today, but even more advanced and pros and gurus, you'll really enjoy this. So let's start over here. The traditional way that most folks do this is by going to the Google Keyword Planner tool, right? It's a free tool, it's a great tool, nothing against that. In fact, they have a lot of data points there, as you'll notice when you dive in. However, it's very geared towards pay-per-click, paid ads, paid advertising, not so much organic, but it's a great tool. So they'll start here and they'll enter a whole bunch of keywords and they'll get an Excel sheet. So let me just share this with you. Say you're a financial planner. We deal with a lot of financial planning clients. Well, you're going to enter things like financial planner, financial planning, estate planning. You'll see a number of sort of what I call top level keywords. You enter that into the tool and it'll spit out a lot of those top level sort of main category keywords. Now, what happens here is this is where it gets interesting, right? Because once you have the list and once you have this tool set working for you, it seems like keyword research is done. Not at all. In fact, here is the problem. Most companies and entities start focusing too much on the tool and the keywords, and they only focus on those main keywords, as I said. No consideration of content and where I'm going to place it. Little understanding of page structure. How is this really going to be structured out? Where do I assign? So I call it assignment here, keyword assignment. Where do I assign those to what pages? No planning of ideas. What type of content around those keywords should I have or do, right? Where do I place it on the interwebs? Where does that all happen? Intensity around dollar keywords only. So, a keyword like financial planner or estate planning, top level sort of money keywords, very hungry to be ranked and shown for that. Not a great approach, I can tell you that. Local impact, no consideration for that. What's really happening in the local market, right? Usability, user experience, user engagement, things like that. So this is kind of where it starts, and this is where the considerations stop. And it's a challenge, and it's also an opportunity, as you'll see here in this sort of better approach. So we're going to move over to this now. What I'm saying you should do is don't forget this tool. We're going to come back to it. But really start with this. Begin with the competitive analysis. And when you think about competition, you really should ask this question first. Who are they, right? But more importantly, and we see this all the time, they'll say it's company A, B, and C. No doubt. We hate them, right? We want to beat them. Well, in truth, you should do this not by market, but by keywords. So you want to focus on the keywords. You know what they kind of are. You can guess around this, but start typing this into Google. Literally load up google.com. Start typing in those keywords. Look at the ads that show up, the paid ads, right? Actually, now it's the top 4, right? They changed that. The local aspects, the organic aspects, and really as you look at all of this sort of this eco space, what does it look like when you think about videos, news, books, blogs, this whole concept of universal listings, which was introduced in May of, it's a number of years ago now. I just remember May because May 17th is Independence Day in Norway. So you look at this and you get a sense for it. Now you can take screenshots here. There's tools online actually you can install into your browser and kind of scrape off the information, and you dump it into Excel and you get a nice picture really by keywords and ads. That really was sort of a non-tool, very manual, but very quick approach because you don't have to spend a lot of time on this. This might take you 30 minutes to an hour. Really top level here to get a good sense for it. But frankly, based on those keywords and based on these results that you'll find here, you'll get a really nice picture of really the opportunities that lie in front of you. So once this is done, then you move to sort of step 2 in this is how can I beat them with content? Yes, content is critical. You need to show leadership and authority and sort of forethought in that. But what kind of tools do you have in your business? And again, sort of thinking about the financial planner industry or market, a lot of tools and opportunities for them to use that, meaning your users. And what kind of experience are you seeing up there? So when I say experience, it's really from the first click to your website. Is it easy to navigate? Can they consume content easily? Does it seems like it's rich in answering questions? And that's exactly what we're going to do here. And that is you map out the top 5 to 10 questions that you get asked all the time. And that's very typical, but not just industry wide. Yeah, I know what they are in the industry. Very specifically to you, to your organization. You may be a local, smaller business, or you may have a wider business with multiple locations around the country and globally. So each of these are going to form a series of questions that you get asked, but also in the local community. Of course, this whole notion of demographics is important. You know, who's your audience? Who are you talking to? All of this sort of feeds into that, right? And then do the classic, much as you love and hate surveys, surveys work, ask your audience. You may just simply send out a quick 2-3 question survey to your list of what are the most important things for you now. Very, very important. Now, with all of this, can you see how this has a different impact and approach on actually switching it around to how can I help my audience? More than, dude, I'm going for some really killer keywords here and have no clue of the impact, and certainly none of this, right? So once you have this, and I drew this sort of keyword focus bar, if you will, and I totally did this wrong because I did this in red. They should be green. And these are not statistically important. It's just a sort of a value bar, if you will, of the keyword focus. So your best bet is right here where you focus simply on what are the resources that you can provide to your audience, feeding it with this kind of understanding, right? And then going back now to the Google keyword tool, to the Giggle keyword tool, to the Google keyword tool, and then list out the keywords that match those findings based on those interest topics and those questions. You may find that there's a lot more here, so you might get more advanced and start grouping these by categories and get fancy. Really, we're thinking sort of beginner level here, as I said today. And you embed those into the questions, sort of naturally placed as you start to develop that content. You place that naturally, kind of sprinkle it throughout. No keyword stuffing, no sort of trying to elevate yourself by that sort of spamming the search engines concept, right? And once you have those, and you map out kind of a friendly structure, those URLs, the web address that you might see, company.com / and the name right there. You may want to think about what that should look like. Often having keywords in those URLs, it's also an elevation. That's just a tip for you, right? Elevation in search engines. And of course, this last one here is a huge topic, promotion. How do I promote it out there? What should I do with this? Well, there's many opportunities here. Obviously, your own email list to just simply send that out. Say, hey, we have some great new content. We want to share this with you. Partners, vendors, clients. Make sure you promote and really show that value and the interest in helping them answer their questions, right? You may find that this sort of basic exercise turns into 2, 3, 4 videos, kind of similar to this, where you're sitting down and explaining questions. There's some great people doing great work in this area, just going out on video. Podcasting, of course, is another, but I'm sort of getting ahead of myself. This is kind of a beginner's approach here. But if you just then, to summarize, look at that basic initial approach that you had, it's not working for you, right? Am I right? Well, I'm right, because I see this all the time. We start at this level where we really discuss your competitive angle, your unique value, and your position in the market as a leader, as an authority, as somebody and something that stands out in the market. And I know it's hard. It's just too much noise in this marketplace. But really, it's a different approach. So start with sort of the back end in mind, and then go forward to some of these keywords tools. And in another sit down, we're going to talk about tools and opportunities, but this is just a quick walkthrough for you so you can understand that this is not driven by just a tool and a list of keywords that mean nothing to your business. Think about your audience first. Think about what they want, what they need, what are their desires, what are they hungry for that you can provide, and not just in rambling off a set of keywords, but true value content that they really consume. And guess what? They're going to share it as well if it's that good, right? Which it will be, because now you've sat down with me. So this is just a casual sit down with Jan here, and I hope you come back and see more videos. And I hope you take this to heart and implement a few of these. I'll take a screenshot of it, and you can take a look at it as well. So I'm waving my hands. I'm very excited because you know what? This is your first step to the right way to do keyword research. Later.